Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
I got a feeling for you. It leaves me breathless at best. 'Cause what I want us to do is scaring me half to death. You got that mojo working, casting a spell across the room. Quick, take this kiss off my lips. I got a feeling. Ooh, I got a feeling for you. Won't complicate what I won't disrespect what I need. It's way too late to undo what's better than a dream. You got that mojo working, dancing your crazy voodoo. Quick, take this kiss off my lips. I got a feeling. Ooh, I got a feeling for you. I got a feeling for you.
Hello, and welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. So often I get asked questions about the creative process, so I created the show to focus on what it takes to have a lasting career in the ever-changing landscape of the music business. You're really in for a treat, as I've invited my friends, some of the best and brightest in music, to share their stories. I guarantee you're going to love it. So let's get started. Today's guest is Melissa Manchester. Melissa Manchester was born in the Bronx to a musical family. Her father, David Manchester, was a bassoonist for the New York Metropolitan Opera. Her mother was one of the first women to design and found her own clothing firm, Ruth Manchester Limited. Melissa began singing commercial jingles at age 15 and went on to become a staff writer for Chapel Music while attending the High School of Performing Arts. After taking a songwriting class at New York University taught by Paul Simon, Manchester took her talents to the Manhattan club scene, where she was discovered by Bette Midler and Barry Manilow. In 1971, she became a founding member of the infamous Harlettes. She recorded her debut album, Home to Myself, in 1973, co-writing many of the songs with Carol Bayer Sager. In 1975, Melissa released her first top 10 hit, Midnight Blue. She and Kenny Loggins co-wrote the 1978 hit, Whenever I Call You Friend. And in 1979, Manchester returned to the top 10 with her version of Peter Allen's Don't Cry Out Loud, for which she received a Grammy nomination for Best Pop Female Vocal Performance. That same year, she became the first artist to have two movie themes nominated for the Academy Awards, I'll Never Say Goodbye and Through the Eyes of Love. 2 years later, she achieved her highest Billboard chart placement with the number 5 hit, You Should Hear How She Talks About You, which won a Grammy for the Best Female Vocal Performance. Manchester followed up with her 2004 album, When I Look Down That Road. With her 20th album, You've Gotta Love the Life, released in 2015, Melissa Manchester celebrates not only 40 years as a Grammy Award-winning performer and songwriter, but also a renewed independence and vitality. The melodically diverse collection, which includes guest appearances from Stevie Wonder, Al Jarreau, Keb Mo, Dionne Warwick, Dave Koz, and Joe Sample in one of his last recordings, is this gifted singer's latest masterpiece. Please welcome my friend, Melissa Manchester. Hi.
Hi, honey. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're so welcome. It wore me out. That's a lot of information. And that was the edited version because you've accomplished so many things in your really wonderful career.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So we have 4 segments today, and I want to start just by asking you, how are you? And where have you been lately? I know that you travel a lot, so what's your latest adventure?
Well, first of all, I'm so excited about this new show of yours, and I'm thrilled to be your premier guest. Really very touching. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
you're welcome.
And I think your show is going to be a real service to your listeners. I have been, back and forth on the road. I traveled earlier this year to Asia, to Singapore, to the Philippines. I've been writing quite a bit. I just finished, as my summer project, a choral piece. I set a poem that I first read when I was 17 years old to music. I had tried setting it before, but it wasn't satisfactory, and now I got it. So I'm going to look for 1,000 people to sing it.
Well, you only need 999 more because I'll be glad to be part of that group.
Okay, very good. And earlier this year, I had a world premiere of a musical I'd written called Sweet Potato Queens. So that was exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're also pursuing that side of your career as a playwright or being involved in theater and the music in theater. And tell everybody a little bit about that.
Well, this is my second musical. My first musical was called I Sent a Letter to My Love, which played off-Broadway several years ago. Sweet Potato Queens is inspired by the writings of Jill Connor Brown. And the book is by Rupert Holmes, and the lyrics are by Sharon Vaughn, and I composed the score. And it was done in Houston at the Tuck Theater. And
do you find it very similar to the other aspects of your music creativity, or is it a completely different process for you?
Well, when you're writing for theater, whether you're writing a score for animation, which I've done several times for Disney, or you're writing for something that will be mounted on a stage, the intention of your songs is completely different than writing a pop song or a folk song or something. In theater, your songs are in a world of purpose. And so your songs are either defining a musical voice per character, or you are helping to move the plot along more expeditiously because you're musicalizing scenes, or you're helping the audience see into a character more deeply. So it's very interesting, and I love it a lot, and there's such a sense of urgency when you're writing for theater because you want to capture that exact moment that needs to be captured. And sometimes it's splitting hairs between what two excellent songs will work best. But then when it finally lands, you understand that what was the better choice. It's really fantastic.
Oh, that's great. I'm so excited that you're doing that.
Thank you.
You know, I was looking at I want to give full disclosure to our listeners. You and we work closely together. I had the opportunity to co-produce with you your 20th record. You're a dear friend of mine, and you've sung on my records, and so I know a lot about you. But I still went and did some more research to prepare for this conversation, and having you as my very first guest. And I looked at your discography again, and I saw that between 1973 and 1985, you released close to an album every year. And
yes, that is correct. And I have no bodily memory of it because I worked so bloody hard. Because in those days, what was expected by the record companies and myself was I would write an album, I would record the album, and then I would tour to support the album and repeat. And that's the way that works.
That's what it looked like on paper, and it leads to my question, which you started to answer. Did you feel any pressure as a songwriter with those kind of deadlines?
It's not that I felt pressure, because honestly, in those days, I was touring on a bus, and with my musicians, and the tours were pretty large, and so there was a semi following us, and I write a lot when I'm on a bus. I don't know if it's the motion of the wheels or that I'm on the same level as the land that I'm passing by, but I write a lot. And so, and in those years, I was, pretty unencumbered. I didn't have children yet, and so my brain was sort of free to write and to collaborate and to reflect what I was seeing on the road and certainly in the country. I would write songs that were not political, but I saw them through my eyes.
And a lot of artists that I speak to don't really find it to be a prolific time for them when they're touring. That's when some writers and artists shut down. So it's really interesting, and I actually resonate with what you're saying about being able to write when there's this forward movement in a bus, moving through the world, being propelled, and seeing everything go by.
Yeah, I don't know that I actually wrote songs while I'd be on the road. I mean, sometimes I did, but I've been keeping journals since I'm 14 years old. So writing, filling a blank piece of paper with thoughts where something might end up to be a title or a second line in a second verse. I've always done that. That's just what I do. Some people knit and some people sketch, and for me, I write out ideas that turn into
You
songs.
write. Yeah, you observe and you write.
Yeah.
Later on, when you did have a family, how did you balance recording, touring, and family as an extremely successful pop artist?
Well, you do balance. I mean, one thing I did know about myself was I was not one of those moms that I'd heard about where I would bring my kids along and spend the day with them and then go out and do a show. I'm really not built that way. I have to be rather quiet during the day and rather still during the day to conserve my energy because I work really hard on stage and I love that feeling.
I'm going to need to... I'm going to interrupt you really quickly as we go into our first break, but we'll pick up right after this break. Thanks, Melissa.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer. Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
Even the simple things become rough. Haven't we had enough? And I think we can make it one more time if we try. One more time for all the old times. For all of the times you told me you needed me now.
Welcome back to Making It with Terry Woolman on entertalkradio.com. I'm here with my dear friend Melissa Manchester, and we are talking about the life of an artist and the arc of a career. And my question to you is, was your success how you dreamt it might be, or did you find it to exceed or be less than your expectations?
Oh, my career was way better than my dream. I just had a dream that I wanted my life to be special, and my vehicle for whatever that meant was my voice and my passion for music and songwriting. But the rigor of how it unfolded and the sparkle sometimes and the craziness sometimes, it all was more textured and more beautiful than my dreams.
And you knew that you wanted it to be special, whatever that might be. Is that the way your parents raised you, or is that the way you came out the gate?
Well, my parents, because they were both black sheep of their family, wanted my sister and I and encouraged us to chase our dreams, whatever that meant. And so that's what I did. It seemed like the best idea, and I had no other plan and no other idea of how to live, so that worked out for me.
And I see, as an observer of you, as a friend and fellow artist, I see that you're still living your life the same way. You know, there's an abandon and a joy and curiosity and openness.
Yes. It is the spiritual and artistic muscle that has created a very deep groove in my soul and in my mind, and it's the way I know how to live my life. I just don't know how to live my life any other way in this moment, and so that's the way it worked out. But you had asked an earlier question about having kids and being on the road and all that. As they say, it takes a village. I mean, when I was on the road, my parents had moved from New York to California, where I live, and stayed close to my kids. And my kids' dad was instrumental in holding the fort together. I never went away for a very, very long time. The most it would be a couple of weeks, but we tried to keep it consistent as much as possible.
But you had great support from your family.
Absolutely, I did.
Yeah. I was reading a quote of yours, and it's in one of your bios, and it says, you say, "My hunger is the same hunger that I had when I was 17. And I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I just think that there's such mystery and service involved in creating songs and seeing if they mean anything to anybody, if they resonate with anybody, and when they do connect with people, it's on such a personal level of theirs that you can't imagine, because you wrote it, in the corner of your world at some point. So, yes, I still find it endlessly, deeply fascinating and life-affirming.
Did you find that over the arc of your career that having the opportunity to play some of your songs to your audience before recording them informed the way you recorded them, or was your experience generally you recorded them and then you saw what the response was and got to dance with that, experience?
Yeah, well, for the first half of my career, that's what I would do. I would record them first and then perform them.
Right.
And then for this more recent chapter in my career, I would actually try things out on stage and then get a sense of what I would then bring into the studio. But and that's one of the great joys and gifts and benefits of working live. You get an instant sense of whether something is working, even in a rudimentary form, and that's great. It's great.
I've also noticed over the years, because I've had friends play in your band and music direct for you through the years, and I know that you are an artist that enjoys keeping musicians around. You have same when it works.
I do. Yes, one of the things is that I love my musicians. Most of them have other gigs because, unfortunately I don't play with my band that often because I've been doing so many duo shows recently. But I love my musicians, and they have been kind enough to stick around for, 30-odd years, some of them. And on the other hand, I have found people who are extremely talented but really jerks, and my feeling is nobody's that talented.
I learned that my first year moving out to L.A. So I worked with some incredibly talented people one time.
Yep.
They made it. They lasted one time in my band, and then that was it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was a little surprising at first, and then I just made the adjustment and went, just because somebody's amazing doesn't mean it's a good fit or they're a good person.
That's exactly right. That was one of the most heartbreaking realizations I ever had, and it was probably because my dad was a musician, and I really didn't pay attention to the nuances of what that meant, except that I loved my dad, and I loved that he was a musician, and therefore all musicians were lovable. And when I had to realize that just because you're talented is not a barometer of character or decency or anything, I had to rise to that occasion and get rid of the jerks.
Well, I'm looking at another quote of yours that I bookmarked, and speaking of talent, and it's talent is only the point of departure. Talent is that central nugget, but it's the reality of life and the grind that you face every single day. You have to be okay with this version of normal, and it's really not for everybody or for anybody who has any reservations. It also demands fearlessness, and I love that you said that. Fearlessness.
Well, thank you. The thing about talent, in my observation, is it's probably a chemical imbalance of sorts. It could have been a twitch, but it turned out to be talent, and it stands alone. And yes, that's true. It's only the central nugget. The truth is, and as you well know, we had discussed this before. It's not just your talent that you respond to that urges you to express itself. You've also got to love the larger life, which is unsteady and unsecure and unsafe at times. And so if that version of normal appeals to you, as it does to me, then you sign up. But it sure isn't for most people. I just think that the not knowing how each day is going to unfold is fascinating, and I find that really intriguing and interesting, and no 2 days are alike. And when I come off the road, I'm so thoroughly spent. But at least I know I am tired,
Right. It's well earned.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have about 2 minutes left on this segment, so I want to ask you, what has been the most rewarding aspect of moving from being a major label artist to an independent artist?
Well, getting to know you better, because you explained to me the entire lexicon of what an independent artist means, so I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Getting,
it's a thrill.
Yeah,
It's a thrill to invite you into the club.
Yeah, really. We ended up working together and creating a beautiful piece of work. The ability to really express not only myself, but the sound of what myself sounds like, musically, arrangement-wise, song content-wise, and just pushing it as far as I could, because I had you in my corner and my great band in my corner, and then the great guest artist that showed up, and that was not part of the original plan, but oh well. It was just a gift that fell out of the sky. And so, you do have to do, you become the little engine that can,
right,
as opposed to being one of many in a group of, the roster of a recording company, but they have that giant engine behind you, but you're beholden to them. So I think this world is fascinating with independent artists and digital world, and I like it. I like it. It keeps you very alert and very awake, and you start to notice if you're starting to fall asleep again into complacency.
Right.
So
and I think, we're heading into our break, but I think I can just tell you that I love watching you flourish and thrive in this new environment of what you and I fondly called the Yes album for you, which was doing anything and everything that you wanted. And we're going to talk about the new album after this first break. Amen, Melissa.
Great.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers. at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
Got your blind ambition and it's dragging you all over town. Oh, you wanna play your music, better show your stuff for the knockdown. It gets you down before you know. Turn around and do it again. You gotta love the life, the hunger in your heart. You make a sacrifice. For what you do is who you are. You gotta learn to fall. Every time you hit the wall.
That is the title cut from You Gotta Love the Life, Melissa Manchester's 20th album. And I want to welcome everybody back to Making It with Terry Woolman on intertalkradio.com. I want to take a quick moment just to thank the companies that helped me sound my best. Taylor Guitars, Duesenberg Guitars, Seymour Duncan Pickups, Diodario Strings and Planet Waves, Mesa Boogie Amps, Motu Digital Performer, Fishman Acoustic Amps, IK Multimedia, and Blue Microphones. So thank you, all of you, for your continued support. And welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. So I always smile when I hear that You Gotta Love the Life, the title track, and the horns. What some people don't know is that you were very involved in the horn arrangement.
Well, yes. You know, for me, the whole secret for me is capturing the inner life of a song. And because if the inner life is captured arrangement-wise, then it will help the listener, whom I presume listens to a song once and then moves on, to understand the energy, the intention of the energy of a song. And when you and Lee Thornburg and I met to discuss the horn arrangements for the piece, mm-hmm. I said to both of you, I really want these horns to sound like the skyscraper, the skyline of New York, that uneven visual where you feel the angularity and the grit and all of that. And you captured it. You both nailed it.
We sure did.
You did.
Yeah, we built a world. You know, one of the cool things is we built a lot of worlds on the arrangements and performances of every song on this record. They all, I know you and I talked very deeply about each song and how to approach it to create a sonic and emotional landscape for the lyrics to live in and the song to live in. And it happened with the horn section on that, but I think it happened on every song that we did. I know that it did.
Yeah, no, I first of all, we couldn't stop recording. We almost made the world's longest album because we just couldn't stop recording. But yes, I really feel that song per song, we really captured the inner life, the inner intention of the world of a song, and that made me feel most excellent because that's the best you can hope for, really.
Yeah, it really is. That's what I strive for in my records, and I know that we accomplished that together, and it makes me very proud of the work that we did. Yep. I want to quote you again, which is really fun. This is the first time I've ever found myself quoting you. but it seems appropriate having you as my very first guest on my new show. And here's what you said, and we're talking about your record, You've Got to Love the Life. This album is my testimony of what I know to be true. Not anybody else's version of telling me what a good idea it would be, but my own hard-won sense of who I am and what I've been through and what I have learned. My question to you, what do you know to be true at this point of your life?
What I know to be true is that I can trust myself. Musically, I can trust myself sonically. I know when something is balanced at last in terms of an arrangement or the very song itself. I have a sense of when a song is finished and when it's time to let it go. I have a sense of knowing what I know and knowing when someone is trying to talk me out of what I know and what that feels like in my gut, and I no longer let that happen. And people keep trying,
and they will,
and they will. But I have learned to recognize who I am and what that means and what that feels like. And when people try to convince me to go back to sleep or diminish what I know, and I just have a more awakened sense of myself, and that's really a big blessing.
Yeah, and I've found in life that once you are awake, it's hard to go back to sleep, and why would you want to?
Well, yes and no, because I have had many opportunities in my life to awaken and stay awake, but for whatever reason, I would go back to sleep because I was so busy being an artist and being on the road, and being a mother and stuff like that, that there were certain, being an artist now is very different than being an artist when I started in the 70s. The conventional wisdom was, you go and make art, and we'll take care of your business and your career and your money and all that stuff. And today, the young ones coming up mostly know that they are responsible for as much as possible regarding their lives, because still and all, you can sign a crappy contract and be bamboozled out of, royalties or something, and it's harder to make a living as a writer these days because the digital world, in terms of revenue streams, has not caught up with the democratization of the platform of getting music out. So the thing is that, yes, you're absolutely right. Once you've awakened, why would you want to go back to sleep? But you know what? If you're not used to that muscle, it still feels like, oh, gee, it's homework and I don't want to do it right now. But at some point, you want to say, it's my homework. This is my part. I insist everybody else do their part. And that's mature thinking, I suppose.
I think so. I think it's very mature and self-aware. And self-aware is it's a verb, really. I think more than a noun to me. It's a daily practice.
Yeah, I agree.
And to not slip back into wishing everybody was doing everything for me that I'd rather not be doing, because I'd rather be.
That's the big one. Yes, because
it is.
What I have found that's most important is to sort of slow my brain down, so I can really take in what is happening and who's doing what and who was supposed to do what when they promised they would do, and what is my part, and because it's hard in the midst of creating and all that stuff to be the boss of your life. I mean, it sounds pretty simple, but sometimes, in my case anyway, I had to really remember what that was and that fell at my feet. So anyway, I'm glad that I've had a long enough career where I could start to deeply relearn lessons that I suppose I should have learned a long time ago.
Well, I don't know that you should have learned it a long time ago. The time for you to learn it is now at this point of your life, because you were afforded back in the day a really beautiful opportunity to be surrounded by people that in many ways took care of you. Not always the best that it could have been, but you were well taken care of so that you could focus on being an artist. And But I have such deep respect for how you've transitioned into taking more responsibility for other aspects of your career. Certainly in co-producing your record, you had a very strong point of view, and I would have expected nothing less of you on that. But you walked into it with open arms and open heart, and you did a beautiful job of expressing what you thought and what you felt and what you desired and what you envisioned.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I've heard you say that before to me, and I keep thinking, did I walk in with a really clear sense of myself?
No, well,
I don't know that I did. But I'm glad that I gave that impression. And part of that is largely due to you saying, "What do you want to do? How do you want this to sound?" And that's a very generous question to ask.
Yeah, but I would have been missing out if I didn't ask the question and you didn't answer it. It would have been a different record.
You're right.
So
you're right. You're right.
Very quick, we've got a minute before the next break. Where can people find you, Melissa? You want to tell everybody your website and other cool ways to hear your music?
If you go to melissamanchester.com, there's lots of stuff to check out there. There are tracks to listen to, and there's blogs to read, and there are tour dates to follow, and all kinds of stuff. I consider my Facebook page sort of a room where we discuss things, and sometimes it's inane questions like, how do you feel between a comforter and a duvet cover? And sometimes it's about a political something. And but anyway, that's melissamanchester.com is where you'll find it.
It's a wealth of information. It's a beautifully designed website, and there's always new things up on that site about where Melissa's going to be next and what she's up to. So go there. I encourage you. Stick around. We've got one more segment.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear. Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs. Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit mozguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
And we're back on Making It with Terry Woolman with my very special guest, Melissa Manchester. And just a little piece of trivia, if anybody recognizes the voice of the voiceover for the show, it's my friend Pat Prescott, who's just got this amazing radio voice, and that's who's doing the show announcing. So thank you, Pat, for your love and support, and welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're so welcome. You talked about how the music business has changed. How has it remained the same?
It's remained the same. Actually, it's come full circle because now mostly musicians make their living by touring, by performing live.
Right.
And, and, mostly you sort of sell your wares if you have hard copies of CDs after your show or before your show. And in order to pay your dues, you still got to play at clubs and coffee houses and learn how to hold a stage and walk the walk.
Right.
That stuff has really sort of stayed the same. Yeah.
Although I know many people talk about this, but there's the younger generation is getting sort of fast-tracked to celebrity now without having the opportunity sometimes to gain that experience from
that is true.
Talent shows and things like
posting,
that.
Yeah, from posting on YouTube and stuff.
Right.
That's true, but still in all, if you get lucky enough to get a million or multiple million hits, at some point you're going to have to go out on stage. People are going to want to see what it is you got, and working your stuff out in front of 100,000 people has its own issues. Mm-hmm. Because at some point you have to learn how to do what you do, and I don't know. The way I did it was in clubs with at 2 a.m. with a drunk at the bar and more people on stage than in the actual club. And
I know it well.
But a lot of kids are still doing that because there's still clubs. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, at some point, whether there's a lot of razzle-dazzle in you coming out of the box or whether you're just really paying hard dues from the get-go in a club, you still have to learn how to, A, hold the stage and really feel like you're filling your space entirely, and B, through Z, you got to keep it fresh for you, because if you're blessed enough to be really successful where you're required to sing the same song for years and years and years, you got to keep it fresh and good for yourself so that it's fresh and good for the audience, because the magic is making the audience feel like a song that you've been singing for 10 or 40 years just showed up in your brain as a new thought.
Yes.
That's what they respond to, and it's magic.
Yeah, it is, and it's part of the skill set and the art of being a great performer.
Right. Mm-hmm. I certainly learned that from great performers. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned from being a sponge and watching what works and what doesn't. By watching people that I respect. Mm-hmm. I know that in addition to singing and writing and now producing, you've also been teaching, and there's not enough time to talk about the college teaching that you're doing, but I also know that you did a TED Talk on the sonic thermal, and I want people to know about that.
Thermal,
I thought it was
Yeah,
Tell us.
The sonic thermal is, for me, is what happens to me viscerally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually when an idea is urgently trying to express itself. Because when a notion shows up in your brain, in your subconscious, you have to get to it immediately. Otherwise, write it down. Otherwise, it will disappear as quickly as it shows up. And for me, as I teach, there are two kinds of writing in my experience. There's writing from the eyebrows up, and then there's writing from the heart down. And my experience is that writing from the heart down is where really source language shows up, deeper connected language, and that's where I prefer to write from. But it takes a while to get to it.
Do you find that there is sometimes reasons to write from the eyebrow up? Is that of value to you as well?
Well, in the beginning, I think when any writer is writing in the very beginning of their career, it's such a charge just to write a song and to complete it that you're not thinking about whether you wrote it from the eyebrows up or the heart down. It's just gushing out of you, and that's very exciting. The nuance of knowing whether it's the eyebrows up or the heart down comes after you've been working at your craft for quite a while, and it's no longer the gush. It's now being aware that you have tools to sculpt language, to really capture an idea as precisely as you can convey it through your language and your melody. So, yeah.
Well, I want to encourage everybody, each of you that are listening, and by the way, thank you for listening to our first episode, but go check out Melissa's TED Talk. You can find that on YouTube, just TED Talk, Melissa Manchester. I've got one more question for you. We've got about a minute and a half. I want to remind everybody before I ask you this question to go to melissamanchester.com to find out anything and everything about what Melissa's up to, and you can find out what I'm up to at terrywallman.com and hear my music and my adventures. We've got about a minute. Here's my question to you. At this point of your life, with all of your experience and wisdom, and what would you say to your younger self if you could give some advice?
Oh, my gosh, that's just the best question. What I would say to my younger self is, whenever you feel panic to make a decision, slow down, because that is the key to wisdom. I think that I would start there.
Say that again for everybody and for me.
Yeah. whenever I would feel panicked to make a decision, to my younger self, I would say, slow down.
Slow down.
Because in your slowing down, that's where you'll find your wisdom.
Thank you for that. And thank you for being my very first guest on Making It with Terry Wollman. I love and respect you so much.
Thank you for being my very dear friend.
Yeah. You're very welcome for that. We have many more years of making music and laughs together and meals and miles. So I look forward to that. Thank you, Melissa.
I love you, honey.
I love you too. And you're listening to Making It with Terry Wollman on entertalkradio.com. See you next week.
Tune in again next week for another great episode of Making It with Terry Wollman.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page, mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs. Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICHWICH. Whichwich.com.